Hello and a very warm welcome to Science Monitor, your weekly update on what's happening in the field of science, technology, research and innovation in and around the country. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. From the unique feat of India's first multi-wavelength observatory AstroSat to the invisible metal shield developed by Indian scientists against electromagnetic interference, we have plenty in store for you. So let us begin with the headlines. India's AstroSat discovers one of the earliest galaxies in the ultraviolet light, a major breakthrough by a global team of astronomers led by scientists of IUCAA, Pune. Stable and high-performance tin anodes developed for lithium-ion batteries used in electric vehicles. Technology developed by ARCI to increase the performance of commercially available tin. Center for Nano and Soft Matter Sciences, Bengaluru develops transparent and flexible shield to tackle electromagnetic interference. The innovation can add muscle to many defense applications. And groundwater crisis in northwestern India will deepen further if efficient mitigation practices are not adopted. 20% improvement in the efficient use of groundwater will bring tangible results. India's first multi-wavelength space observatory, AstroSat, has outperformed Hubble Space Telescope by detecting extreme ultraviolet light emanating from a galaxy about 9.3 billion light-years away from us. The breakthrough discovery was made by Dr. Kanak Saha of Inter-University Center of Astronomy and Astrophysics, Pune, and his team comprising of national and international astronomers. According to the scientists, the discovery could be crucial for understanding the re-ionization of the cosmos. Let us see our report to find out more about this discovery.
Infinite and deep. The mysteries of the universe are no different from it. To unfold these mysteries, we have deployed powerful satellites and observatories in space. And with their every discovery, we are expanding our knowledge about the universe. In this episode, Indian Space Observatory AstroSat has discovered one of the primitive galaxies called AUDFS-01. This major breakthrough is the result of an in-depth study by a global team of astronomers led by Professor Kanak Saha of IUCAA.
We observed a patch of the sky, which is called the Chandra Deep Field South. Okay, is a large patch of the sky with UVIT. Okay, and we analyze the data and make one of the deepest image in which the deepest image of the patch of the sky, which contains like thousands or like millions of galaxies. Okay, in a detector wavelength. When the detector works on in far ultraviolet wavelength, and then we know that if the redshift of an object is greater than 0.97, this will fall in this detector, and those galaxies will be exactly will be emitting extreme UV light. So I have directed search for this. Okay, I have already used the spectroscopic observation from HST, Hubble Space Telescope, and then we have the far ultraviolet image, and then we know that which galaxy at what distance.
The team has scientists from India, Switzerland, France, the United States of America, Japan, and the Netherlands. The astronomers observed the galaxy for nearly 28 hours in October 2016, and the data was carefully analyzed for the next 2 years to ascertain the emission was indeed from the galaxy called AUDFS-01, which is located 9.3 billion light-years away from us.
The universe was forming stars at its very peak rate. and which means a lot of galaxies were basically making stars at that time. Okay, so these galaxies belong to some in and around at that time. Okay, but this is not the first galaxy, but this galaxy has a lot of properties which are very, very similar to the first galaxies.
Astronomers have been looking for the first sources that re-ionized the early universe. But observing ionizing radiation from these sources is next to impossible because these photons get absorbed by the gas in the galaxy or the matter between the galaxy and us. NASA placed Hubble Space Telescope to discover such radiation in space, but it could not detect this emission, although it is much larger than the AstroSat's ultraviolet imaging telescope. Therefore, this is a unique achievement by Indian Space Observatory AstroSat.
When you take an image of an object, you basically record in a CCD camera or in some kind of other devices like photodiode or like the micro channel plates, things like that. And each of these detector has its own noise. Okay, it seems that the detector noise in the UVIT was much less than the detector noise was in Hubble. And then we are picking a galaxy which is so faint that the noise was dominating in Hubble's detector than what was the case, and that was not the case in the, so we were basically, we gained in terms of the noise reduction because this is a very, very faint signal. And then when we actually compared the image which is taken by Hubble and the AstroSat, we saw that our image, that what I created, which I sent you by email, that image is actually half a magnitude deeper than what Hubble did, which means that you can go fainter and fainter galaxy to look at in EVIT. So that is where the plus point comes for us.
AstroSat was launched on 28 September 2015 by the Indian Space Research Organisation. It has the 38-centimeter diameter ultraviolet imaging telescope on board, which is capable of simultaneous imaging in far and near ultraviolet bands with a wide field of view. It has helped in detection of AUDFS-01 is in the middle of a redshift range where previously no similar sources were detected. According to astronomers, it is also the beginning of a new exploration of star-forming galaxies at extreme UV wavelength. The discovery has been published in the journal Nature Astronomy.
To make electric vehicles a viable option of transport, there is a need to develop stable and fast charging batteries. To cater to this need, Chennai-based Center of ARCI, an autonomous institute under the Department of Science and Technology, has developed a unique technology to transform commercially available micron-sized tin into high-performance anode material for lithium-ion batteries that are used in electric vehicles. The tin anodes fabricated by this method are also very low cost. Let us see the report to find out more about this technology.
The use of electric vehicles is now being encouraged to save the environment. All electric vehicles, such as cars, scooters and public transport, make use of lithium-ion batteries. But the capacity of batteries and their need for charging at regular intervals is a major hindrance in the use of these vehicles. Scientists at the International Advanced Research Center for Powder Metallurgy and New Materials, ARCI, have now developed a solution for this problem. Located at the Research Park of the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, ARCI, Chennai's Center for Automotive Energy Materials, has developed low-cost micron tin-based anodes, which prove to be high-performance and stable anode material for lithium-ion batteries, LIBs. These anodes will increase the life cycle and charging capability of batteries.
The electric vehicles technology requires lithium-ion battery with long cyclic stability, high capacity, high power density, and fast charge capability. The existing lithium-ion battery uses graphite as an anode, which gives only a moderate capacity and limited fast charging capability. Alternatively, a tin as a low-cost material, which has 3 times capacity than the graphite, it can be used, and also fast charge capability, which can be used as an anode materials.
The conventional lithium-ion batteries use graphite as an anode as it has minimal volume expansion of 12% during charge-discharge cycle. But these batteries suffer from moderate capacity and limited fast charging capability. Commercially available tin, with its low cost, high capacity and fast charging capability, can replace graphite, but it has a major drawback of high volume expansion during charge-discharge cycle, which leads to cracking of electrodes. To solve this problem, ARCI Chennai scientists have developed a unique technology with which high-performance and stable anodes can be fabricated using commercially available micron tin. The technology involves a novel and harmless binder which establishes strong, multi-dimensional contact points with the tin particles and acts as a buffer against high-volume expansion.
We have developed a novel and environmentally benign aqueous binder called carbonyl beta-cyclodextrin, which has given 4 times for higher capacity than the conventional graphite electrode at 12 minutes charge-discharge process. The binder has a typical cage-like structure. Due to that, it has act as a buffer for volume expansion. As a result, we could able to achieve the over 1,500 cycles at the 85% capacity retention at 1C rate, which is highly suitable for electric vehicle applications. Using commercially available tin and a novel aqueous binder, a low-cost and sustainable lithium-ion battery can be realized in future for various applications.
The unique technology developed by the ARCI scientists gives results as good as using nano tin for anodes. This study has been published in the journal Energy Technology. Apart from electric vehicles, these batteries can also be used for various other applications. The method will not only reduce the cost of the batteries, but also improve their cycle life and charging capability. Such batteries will give a push to the electric vehicle sector and make electric vehicles more user-friendly.
Now it is time for a short break, but do not go anywhere. We'll be back soon with more reports.
Mihir Sen, an outstanding and extraordinary saltwater swimmer of India. He is the first Asian to swim the English Channel way back in 1958. And just 8 years later, in 1966, he swam the 7 seas of the 5 continents in 1 calendar year, which etched his name in the Guinness Book of World Records. In 1959, he was also conferred the Padma Shri, and in 1967, he was awarded the Padma Bhushan.
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Science Monitor. For uninterrupted use of electronic devices or systems, it is very important to save them from electromagnetic interference or EMI. And when such systems are used in critical applications like medical and defense, then it becomes all the more important to save them from EMI. Traditionally, opaque metal films have been used as shields to solve this problem. But now, Bengaluru-based Center for Nano and Soft Matter Sciences has developed an invisible and flexible EMI shield using copper metal mesh. Let us see the report to know more about this innovation.
While using TV, radio, cell phone or internet, we all have encountered at some point of time a disturbance in sound, picture, or a sudden loss of contact. This happens due to the radio frequency interference or electromagnetic interference, also known as EMI. It is basically a disturbance that affects an electrical circuit when it comes in the vicinity of electromagnetic radiation from an external source. It is also used deliberately by security agencies to intercept radio or phone signals and is very common in radio broadcasting. Now, scientists of Bangalore-based Center for Nano and Soft Matter Sciences, an autonomous institute under the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, have developed an invisible or transparent shield to protect electromagnetic wave emitter or absorber devices from EMI without compromising their transparency and aesthetics. The shield can be very useful for various military stealth applications, like to hide fighter planes from radar signals.
So it's basically blockage or stopping of the electromagnetic radiation so that it goes undetected, typically in military applications. Usually metals do very good in terms of absorbing the electromagnetic radiation. Aluminum, copper, they are pretty good. But just that we can't have the entire body of the vessel, be it an aircraft or a marine vessel, covered entirely with the metal. In our recipe, what we do is actually produce a very fine mesh, nanowire or microwire mesh made of metal, and that is actually coming as a coating on a piece of glass, large area glass. We're talking about windshields and all. And when that is used in the vessel, one expects that all the gigahertz radiation is stopped. It's absorbed, so to say. And that's how you can actually make the entire vessel go still.
Usually, for EMI shielding, a continuous film of metal coating is used, but it seizes or reduces the transparency of many materials. To overcome this problem, scientists at SENSE made very fine copper metal mesh on polyethylene terephthalate or PET substrate. Using the crack templating method and spray coating, which maintains up to 85% transparency and provides a better electromagnetic shielding. This metal mesh can be created on any desired substrates such as acrylic, polycarbonate or glass, without compromising the conductivity of the electrodes.
Here in this technology, the hybrid electrode what we are developing using the crackle lithography technique which we have pioneered in our laboratory. So basically in this electrode you can see it is transparent. At the same time it is behaving as a transparent EMI shielding. So it can block the EMI signals very efficiently within any range of like from KU band or few of the gigahertz range. This kind of electrode substrate what we are using here is a glass, but the technology, the crackle lithography technology, it gives us advantage to coat any kind of substrate, whether it's a PET or it's acrylic or any transparent plastic. It can be coated on any curved surface, so it gives you the advantage to put in any kind of application where curved surfaces are required. And one example I can give you in the fighter aeroplanes where the pilot sits, it is having the canopy, it is having the curved glass, so we can do such kind of coating on that.
SENSE, in collaboration with its industrial partner, Hind High Vacuum HHV Private Limited, has also set up a DST-funded semi-automated production plant for producing transparent conducting glasses for making transparent EMI shields. The innovation will satisfy the huge demand for highly effective, transparent and flexible EMI shields. Plus, it will also enhance the stealth capability of military equipment and weapon platforms.
The northwestern plains of our nation are also known as the breadbasket of India. But these plains are suffering from groundwater crisis due to the overexploitation of groundwater resources for irrigation purposes. To check this, the Government of India has targeted to improve the efficient use of groundwater by 20%. Now, a model-based study has anticipated the future trend of the groundwater level in this area with and without the improvement of efficient use. Let us see the report to know more about the key findings of the study.
The northwestern region of India has been catering to the tremendous food needs of the country. But inefficient irrigation practices, over-exploitation of groundwater resources and low groundwater recharge have made it one of the largest centers of groundwater degradation in the world. Recently, researchers from Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, University of Delhi, Banaras Hindu University and National Geophysical Research Institute collaborated with researchers of England-based Durham University to conduct a study in the northwestern India, especially in Haryana and Punjab. The results of this study have revealed that the groundwater crisis in this region is getting more serious. The study shows that without any mitigation efforts, by the year 2028, the groundwater level will fall by about 28 meters in Kurukshetra district of Haryana, that is, at the rate of 2.8 meters per year. Whereas groundwater level in Bathinda, Manasa, Ludhiana in Punjab and parts of Haryana's Kaithal, Sirsa, Jind, Hisar, Bhiwani, Rohtak, Yamunanagar, Sonipat and Panipat will decrease by 5 to 10 meters in the next decade.
We are an agriculture-dominated economy. Unfortunately, the overexploitation of groundwater has reached to a level which is almost unsustainable. There are several districts in Punjab and Haryana where the groundwater depletion is going to go down further and further if we don't take any sustainable measures.
The study has used a calibrated and validated regional-scale 3D groundwater flow model to assess the groundwater decline under baseline scenario and mitigation scenario. According to the study, a reduction in groundwater abstraction by 20% has the potential to generate a significant positive impact on groundwater levels within a decade. It could retard the rate of groundwater decline by up to 67% in areas that are currently overexploited.
Our study shows that even 20% reduction in the groundwater abstraction can lead to tangible impacts in terms of groundwater improvement, and this work has just been published in Scientific Reports, which is a Nature group of journals, and I do hope that these findings will be of use to the groundwater management in this country.
Apparently, the use of groundwater was introduced to increase and stabilize agricultural produce, but excessive pumping has created a very critical situation. On the other hand, change in rainfall pattern and urbanization have reduced the recharging capacity of groundwater. Therefore, agricultural water management practices incorporating groundwater use efficiency, water-efficient cropping pattern, and rainwater harvesting for agricultural use is strongly needed to deter the impending groundwater crisis. Combining such efforts can yield better results in a shorter period.
Now it is time for another break. Stay with us. We'll be back soon.
The Kothob complex in Maharari is not just a place that houses the eponymous Minar, but also a landmark that represents once ruler's desire to build an even taller structure that could have overshadowed even the Qutub Minar. Alauddin Khilji, who called himself Sikandar-e Sani or the Second Alexander, had commissioned the construction of Alai Minar. Though the work had begun on the structure opposite Kothob, due to death of Khilji, the construction was abandoned, never to be taken up by any other ruler. Even in its incomplete state, the magnitude of Alai Minar is awe-inspiring. It stands a lot wider at the base than Qutub Minar, and though just one story exists, it stands 80 feet, one-third the size of older counterpart. Probably the only unfinished monument in Delhi is a marvel to behold, for nothing induces more wonder than a strong first step with an illusion of how great things could have been.
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Science Monitor, and now let's have a quick look at some other developments that have made news in the field of science and technology in our segment Science Express.
In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Government of India has amended the Corporate Social Responsibility (CSR) rules to allow drugs, pharma, devices, vaccine companies to support COVID-19 research and development collaboratively in publicly funded institutions. The amendment will allow such firms in their normal course of business to claim CSR benefits for undertaking such R&D activity. According to a notification issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs on 25th August, these amendments will be valid only for the next 3 financial years. It should be noted that under the company's rules, every company has to spend 2% of the average net profit of the last 3 years under the CSR head. The Council of Scientific and Industrial Research is conducting a sero survey in its 38 laboratories spread across the country to check the presence and prevalence of COVID-19 antibodies among its employees. The survey will help in identifying the infection trends in various parts of the country. The survey also includes family members of CSIR employees in the age group of 19 to 60 years. Delhi-based CSIR's Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology is coordinating the survey. The survey is expected to be completed by September 2020, and the exercise will be repeated in the next 6 months to ascertain the effective life of COVID-19 antibodies. According to the recently released report, Greenland's massive ice sheet saw a record loss of 532 billion tons in the last year. This is a big warning for the sea level rise, as this amounts to an additional 3 million tons of water reaching into the global oceans every day. According to the paper published in the journal Communications, Earth and Environment, crumbling glaciers and melting of 2 to 3 kilometer thick ice blocks of Greenland were the single biggest source of global sea level rise in 2019. And this alone raised the water level by 1.5 millimeters in the global oceans. According to the study, last year's loss was at least 15% above the previous record in 2012. Greenland stores incredibly large amounts of water in the form of ice. If all of this ice melts, the oceans will rise by 7 meters. This can have disastrous effects, as just a raise of 2 meters will submerge the coastlines of the world.
And that is all in today's edition of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions through email. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write in to us at Vigyan Prasar, 5th floor, Prithvi Bhavan, Lodi Road, New Delhi, 110003. We'll meet you again next week with new informations and developments. Till then, stay safe, stay home, and think scientifically all the time. Bye for now.